Give me monetization. There were a lot of rules, right? Like what went into a loot box, what went into a smart box, what items you would do, how they cycled in and out. I think, were you there when we went through the change of full store to scarcity, or was that before or after you? Yeah, walk me through monetization for TERA.
Well, there was this idea of it's weird because I don't want to say that it was. I think it was all based off of, like, again, historical feelings about things the way they had happened, not about historical data the way it had happened. It was more about, well, when I think the official position from our business contacts that were representing the development team, they were like, they wanted a Walmart. Right? They wanted a Fred Meyer. No one's going to go to Fred Meyer's. I'll just say Walmart. Everybody knows what a Walmart is. They want a giant store that has everything you could ever possibly want, just stocked in the shelves all the way to the ceiling, because that is what brings people in, and they'll just buy everything they can. And then there was another train of thought that we were proposing, which was a curated storefront approach. So instead of have everything in the world available at one time, it was, well, what if we rotate through things? What if things have a life cycle that they live in the store instead? So when you drive a sense of urgency. So the difference between a Walmart and like a corner vintage store, right? If I go to a vintage store and I find a really cool Boba Fett Return of the Jedi action figure on card, and I know they got one, I don't go, well, the store is always here. It's always got stock. They'll probably always have that one. I'll just wait. I'll just wait and get it. I go, no, I better friggin' buy that today. I don't know if it's ever going to be back in. I don't know if they're ever going to get another one of those in stock. I don't know. I don't know when the next time that's going to be for sale, basically. Right? And so that's the idea, is that you drive urgency to buy your product when it's ready or when it's available. And you count on people having that FOMO, right? Which is how all pay-to-play works, or free-to-play works, is there's this fear of missing out. Look at Fortnite. Oh my God. You talk about someone that's, well, now I think they're kind of hurting since their whole Apple spiel, and they've really backed themselves into a corner now because their store now is a hell of a lot bigger than it used to be. And I think that's because they've lost a significant portion of their revenue based on other decisions they made. But they would have like 4 things in the store, 5 things in the store for a day at a time, right? And it was like, if I don't buy, in fact, my son would go to websites and track and see when was the last time this thing was on the store. And when is it expected? Because you can kind of go, well, if that's the cycle, then if it was 8 months ago that they had this costume in the store, it might be 8 months again or more, because they're going to keep adding stuff along the way. It could be 8 more months before I ever see this thing again. And I really want it. I need to buy it now. I have 24 hours to buy this thing. I'm buying it now, right? So there's just this idea of creating scarcity, creating FOMO, making people fear that they might not get this thing. What if they put out this Halloween costume and then they retire it? What if they don't say it, but when it comes out of the store, they go, thank you everybody for those sales, and we're retiring that costume. It'll never be available again, right? Not that I can't think of a game where people have ever done that. But
so League of Legends used to do it.
Did they? Okay.
Yeah, one of the most pivotal, or one of the most important things I remember reading, that's always stuck with me, is back in the day, like their Olympic Corki that was released. Like Stefan SRAM would always play that, and I was like, "Why are you always playing that? You have Black Alistar. Play Black Alistar. Nobody ever sees that." And he was like, "Oh, this is retired. Nobody has it." But I remember reading an article where they came out and they said this exclusivity is, limiting. There's not much. That they changed their model, but yeah, they used to archive a lot of their skins, and they'd just be gone. That'd be it. You bought it, you had it at that time, it's gone.
Yeah, so that's totally feeding into that fear. Once you've done it, can you imagine if we would have done that with one costume? Just been like, I mean, look at the amount of people that asked for the Hello Kitty stuff. Now that was contractually, we couldn't bring that back,
Right?
But we pushed I don't know if you remember that, but we went back to Sanrio, I think it was, or was it Sanrio or was it Crunchyroll? Whoever, I think it was
Sanrio.
Sanrio. We went back to Sanrio and we're like, hey, we'd like to do this again. We talked to our business contacts and said, hey, we think that we have significant interest, and we think we have, we could give you data around what players are still playing the game today that were around when you did this last time, and what percentage of players are new that are spending players that are potential sales we could make if we bring back this rare, scarce thing, But of course, contractually, because it's a partnership, you have to work it out with the licensor has to be the one that says, yes, we're totally cool with being involved with TERA again. Usually they just do that for a promotional thing at the time. It's a one and done deal. It's not like a perpetual, you have a license to forever sell Hello Kitty shit in your store. That's not how those things work. I think it was like 2 weeks. It wasn't like the Attack from Titan was like 4 weeks. From the day it launches, you have 4 weeks. You shut it off 4 weeks later. That's it. Can never be sold again. Right? But with our own stuff, we didn't do that. With our own stuff, people didn't feel a sense of urgency. When we tried doing the scarcity thing, I think if I could go back and redo it, I would have done it, and I would have announced the retirement of something in the store at the time. Mm-hmm. To plant that psychological seed that, oh, they're never going to sell that again. They're shutting shit down. They're saying, we have so much new stuff coming in, we're just going to start shutting down this old stuff. So if you didn't get it, now's your last chance to get it. And keep in mind, you buy it now and you play the game 2 years from now, someone else is going to come into the game and they can't get it. And now you're the cool dude on the block that has, the I was going to say, like, I'm trying to think of one of the goofy, like, awful mounts that we got that none of us liked. But I was going to say, like, just some goofball mount or something that you're just like,
the police car patty.
Yes, you got that, and like nobody wants it. But 2 years from now, somebody's gonna be like, "Son of a bitch! I wish I could get that thing." One guy, and he'd be like, "Man, I would spend $300. I give you $400 for that thing." And we're like, "And we don't sell it anymore. It's gone." So if you created that kind of scarcity, I think that can work. I think our attempt at creating like a store that had a level of curation and scarcity wasn't successful because there was no fear that any of that shit wasn't coming back. The Fortnite's the same thing. There's stuff in there. They don't ever announce it, but there's stuff that has not been back in the game since, season 2 or chapter, whatever. They've changed their whole season chapter structure. But like the second actual battle pass, at that season, they sold stuff then that's never been made available ever since. And the fact that they do their battle pass stuff is all unique. So you buy the battle pass and what you earn in that thing, it's all unique, right? And then at the after the season's over, that's it. There is not an opportunity to ever get any of that stuff again. You might get something that's a knockoff or a recolor of it or something, but you won't get that thing that you wanted. So that drives that FOMO. We have not missed a battle pass since we started playing the game, right? Because we always wanted to make sure that we were like, it's $9.50, man, and we get all of these costumes and stuff, and all we have to do is play the game to do it, and we get these things, and why not? For $9, you're getting 20 times more than you would just get off a single thing you'd buy in the store. So why wouldn't you do it, right? Make it to where it's like a no-brainer. But we never got a chance to do that. We did try it with the what was the name? I'm blanking totally on it. Where we took over the welcome window and we put the daily deals, right? The daily deals store in. We tried creating something there. I created this insane schedule. It was all manual, of course, no tool. It's all manually go in and upload an XML with times on it or something.
Yeah.
I can't.
Thanks for leaving that to me on Closers, by the way.
Yeah. Oh yeah. There you go. Closer. Well, I didn't do the one on Closers. You can thank SRAM for that. I had to pick it up from SRAM and David Whitty. I am responsible for making sure that it made its way into the window for TERA though. But yeah. So again, there's so many. I have nothing but I have so many personal opinions about it that I try not to let those things completely. But it's impossible for me to avoid those. But like I said, I don't really enjoy like the free to play aspect. I would rather everybody has a chance to buy the thing that they want. If it's a little bit cheaper, that's fine. We could put a couple little things about it. But that whole like whale feeding thing, I don't like that at all. I really dislike let's put something in there. Have you watched Mythic Quest? Oh my God, you have to watch that show. I know you don't have anything Apple, so I don't know how you're going to watch it.
I'm not part of the Apple ecosystem.
Maybe I'll have to help you watch it via less than legal means at some point. But Mythic Quest is actually Ubisoft is the partner on that show. But it's Rob McElhenney from It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia did this show about an MMO company launching their first expansion. It's called Mythic Quest Raven's Banquet because Mythic Quest is the name of the game and Raven's Banquet is the name of the first expansion they're making. And they have so much of what you're talking about on this stream and your conversations you're having with all these different people are literally topics that they cover in the show. There is a monetization manager in the show that's played by, and I can't remember the guy's name, but he's the guy from Community, the Middle Eastern guy from Community.
Oh,
what is his name?
I don't remember his real name. Yeah.
Community. Anyway, he's the monetization designer. He's the guy who comes up with stuff, and I'm making a sword that's $25,000. No one's ever going to buy that thing, and then someone buys it on day 2. And he's like having a crisis of conscience where it's like, oh my God, I made this thing. It was 25. That was some kid's probably college education. Like, I can't believe I made something like that. It's stuff like that, you know? It's so there's no right answer. It's really by what your gut, what you like to do, and what you don't like to do. But I do know that there was a lot of resistance when we were talking about monetization with Korea liked the Korean dev team really liked a surefire bet as far as monetization went. They felt like we had done enough experimentation. I think this is me totally. This is my opinion of what I think they thought. I think they thought that we had done enough experimentation, that we had found the business model, and that the business model did not need to be updated. We could add in different ways of selling the same type of objects and for the same amounts of money, but we didn't need to explore other avenues. We didn't need to try to figure out other ways to make money. Like, just put the rare thing in the loot box, direct sell the other one. Done. There's no reason to mess with the formula. The formula works. And as I said earlier, when no one can give me a really good reason why not to try something different, like when the answer is, well, this is just the way it's always been done and it works. Okay, well, is that the bar we set for everything we do? It works. That's not the bar I hold my car to. How's your car, Sean? It works. No, I want my car to be a decent car. I want it to run. I want it to get from point A to point. I don't want to worry about it. I want to make sure it has upkeep. I want to make sure it's decently clean. Like, that's not my bar for things. It's just to say, the thing works, I guess.
So I guess I'm curious. I didn't really get into this with TERA, but I did when I moved over to Closers. And with Closers, I didn't make monetization decisions. I could have, like, there was web space. We had a web store and we could do boxes, and I should have probably focused on doing that a lot. There was a lot of opportunity for me to learn there, and we did daily deals, but what was coming was what was coming. What was the items there were the items there. So I'm curious, like, with all of your experience, not just on TERA, not just on Closers, but through the industry as a whole, how much of that is the publisher doing monetization? Like, if we're taking just what the developer has created and we're marketing it, promoting it, how much control does a publisher actually have on what the monetization is?
Well, I think it's the publisher's responsibility to guide the developer through what the best business decisions are. Look, developers are great at developing games. If they were great at publishing them and coming up with monetization strategies and understanding how business works, they would do it themselves. They don't. So someone needs to stand up to them and tell them, here's what we can offer you. We're your partner. We're going to do the same thing, Keaton, that I did with you. What are your strengths? Your strengths are you've got 7 years experience at that point in time on the game. You know live ops up and down. You interface with the live ops team constantly. You understand that. You're good at that. You know what to do with that. Maybe it's not what you want to do. Maybe you want to expand beyond that, but it's what you're good at. So for the time being, that's your wheelhouse. That's the thing that I'm going to put in as your responsibility, because I think that's the thing. You're going to be better at that than me, right? I am not the lead singer of this band. I'm the bass player. I'm just the guy that's real good at doing the thing that I'm doing. But I can recognize that you're real good at what you do, so I need you to do that, right? So you kind of need to have. I feel like it's the publisher's responsibility to go to the developer and say, "Hey, look, I know you like loot boxes. I get it, and you're going to keep putting out stuff, but why don't you put out this stuff and you explain to us, you communicate with us, you express to us what this thing means to the game, and let us figure out how best to." And I hate to use this word because I'm sure people would hate to hear it this way, but I don't mean it exploit as in to literally exploit exploit people for the thing. I'm not trying to trick people into buying it, but I'm trying to make it as enticing and as easy for everybody to get, right? And I think it is the publisher's job to put the developer kind of in their place and let them understand you are great at making games. You are great at developing and designing and the intricacies that go into making games and these items and these different things. But if you were great at publishing games too, you'd be doing that, and you're not. You've come to us. So here's what we can do for you. We can help guide you. We can give you this lane and say, look, you create items that are like this, and we'll tell you the best way to sell. We will try to optimize what you can make off of this. And it's not because everything's about money, but the developer has to pay, the development studio has to pay all of their developers money. And they have to make that money based off of probably royalties that are being paid to them by the publisher, right? So they're already they have to make percentages of a percentage work. And then we have to do the same thing as the publisher. We also have to take a percentage of the percentages and make that work to keep our lights on, keep the servers up, meet our end of the bargain, which is you develop the game and we'll make all the other things happen, right? We'll keep the game up and running. We'll get servers up. We're going to get you marketing. We're going to get you PR. We're going to get you interviews. You're going to be in all the magazines. We're going to sell your stuff. We're going to create a store for you. I think that the difference between Closers and TERA was that Closers, I feel like that team from the very beginning was very invested, or at least their role they were taking on was as a partial publisher of the game. And I believe in some territories they actually are the publisher for the game. So I think that was the big difference for me.
Well, now in almost every territory they're the publisher of the game.
Oh, are they now? Okay. But now in Korea, even Bluehole wasn't the publisher in Korea.
Right.
Nexon is, right? So they're still leaning on another publisher. And then for them to work with other publishers and think that, well, what works for Nexon is going to work for En Masse. Different territories. The reason you're going to a different territory isn't just the legal reasons of, well, we can't, we have somebody, you do business with somebody in that country or things like that. It's also because you're expecting them to have some level of expertise in what that country or what that territory is like. What goes over, what doesn't go over. And if you run into a wall where nobody wants to listen and everybody thinks they know the best answer when they're not the people, when they're not the group who maybe initially were the ones who, reached out to set up a publishing deal, then, I do feel like it's their publisher's responsibility. I think the developer should not have to worry about that. You make great content. We will help you. We will make sure that it's out there and sold to maximize whatever we can get out of it.
So
and when they're fighting with you about that, then it becomes eventually you just get worn down and go, okay, look, I'll put the fucking rare thing in the loot box and I'll put the other thing up for $20 on the store. Boring. I've literally a fucking monkey could do this. Like, why does it matter? Why do you even care? Why don't you just do this yourself then? What do you need me for? Right? Yeah. I would be leaning on them. If I was a developer, I'd be like, motherfucker, I just created the greatest golden dragon you've ever seen. And you better tell me how the hell you're going to sell the shit out of this thing. And I want to hear something new and crazy and weird and off the wall. And I want you to, like, blow up the industry with this shit.
Hey. How cool is it that you found the GuffyBear YouTube channel? I mean, wow. 1 in a million. Thanks for being here. And if you hit like, subscribe, and comment to one of my videos, my ego really explodes. It just inflates. You have that power. That's something that you can do today to make yourself and me feel good.